Okay, guys, so kind of messed up. Misquoted a very small job, so it's not the end of the world, but we're going to talk about it. So here I have 50 of these little keys. These are for a local author in my area. He wrote a trilogy of books. This is like one of the little trinkets in these said books. Anyways, whenever someone buys the whole trilogy, he sends them a key for free for buying the whole, as like a perk of buying all of them. So he ordered 50 of them. It's a small order, but it worked out good. It fit on the sheet. I cut out a few extras, so when he needs to restock, I have them. Where I messed up on my quote was he needs both sides to be finished. So he needs the front side to have a metal finish. You can kind of see it reflecting in the light. And he needs the back side to have a metal finish. I only quoted him for the one side, so I was a little off on my quote. It's not really the end of the world. And I'm not... Some people will take this and go, well, if you're below what you need to make, you need to tell him and charge him more money. I'm not that below. I'm like maybe $1 off a piece. So it's probably like $50. He's a brand new customer. He's a really nice guy. And he's easy to work with. He's flexible on lead times. It's whenever you can kind of get at it. So I'm not going to go gouge him for the $50. It was my mistake. I'm going to eat it. The next time, I'm just going to have to adjust the price a little bit, and I'll be straightforward with him next time he orders. Now, if this was some of them things like he wanted to order a bigger bulk, we can adjust that number. But I just wanted to express to you guys that, like, what happens when you mess up a job quote? If you can eat it and, like, still afford to pay your bills and your steel for tomorrow and all that kind of stuff, then just eat it, because you want that customer to become a returning customer for all of his needs, his or her needs. If you tell them, for example, you're going to charge $500 to build, a toolbox on a trailer or something, and when you get there and it's taking you way more time than you thought, and the material's more expensive, and you go up to the dude, and it's the day you're building it, and he's been excited to get it done for $500, and you go, well, it's going to be $1,200. It doesn't really matter from that point how good that toolbox looks or operates. I mean, it does a little bit, but he's going to remember that it was over double what you initially said. But mistakes happen. I mean, you're not going to be perfect. I haven't quoted every single job right. I've quoted them where they're high and they go for it, and I actually make really good money. And I've quoted them way too low, and I have to tell them, like, initially I thought it was going to be this, but really it's going to cost more than that just in the raw materials for me. So I got to charge you this. That happens a lot with my heavy equipment guys, because another thing, like in that scenario, you get out there and I went out to fix cracks before, and they've kept using it and completely like ripped booms in half and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's going to cost more money. It's obvious then, but sometimes it's not obvious. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and it's going to hit you. It's part of being in business. But sometimes new customer, if they're easy to work with, like if this guy was difficult and he was like hounding me all the time and he was texting my phone all the time, yeah, well, now I don't want to absorb the cost as much, or I don't care if I'm absorbing the cost as much, so I might kind of charge him the extra money. And another thing, and I like, anytime, like, on production, I call these my production jobs. I don't do, like, big ones, but anything where it's a repeat part, I time myself to make sure I'm getting my hourly rate. So the next time they go to order them, I know if I need to charge more. My shop rate is $80 an hour. That's pretty good in my area for a shop out of your garage. And I came pretty close to hitting $80 an hour with my material cost. I would just like a little more cushion because, you know, you have more things. You have buffing wheels, you have consumables on the CNC and all that kind of stuff. So there's that. But I'm really happy with them. I hope he orders more. I hope he sells a lot of books and they it goes great for everybody involved. That's what I want. When a business comes to me, I don't want to gouge the business for a big one-time payout. I want to do whatever has to be done for myself to be successful and for them to be successful. Because ultimately, if somebody is outsourcing something to you, you better be worth their while. If they're not, the next time they need to outsource it, they're going to look for somebody else. So I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure he succeeds. He's going to do, hopefully, whatever he needs to do to make sure I succeed. So in that case, hey, I'm eating a little bit of money on this time. The next one, when I tell him, you know, we got to do $1 more, he should be willing to help me succeed. So, second part of this video, are these things junk? I just bought this today. Quick plug real quick. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go over there and do that because you see my day-to-day a lot more over there. I'm Austin Anson on Instagram. I think my picture is my wife and I, but you'll be able to look through my posts and figure out it's me real quick. So anyways, last night I cracked this thing open. It's like $140. It comes with 3 wheels, like an 80 grit, a 120, and a 240. This is the 120 grit. There's plenty of life left on that wheel, and I just buffed out both sides, so there's 50 parts, so 100 sides of these keys. These keys are like 2 inches wide and like 7 inches long. They're 1/8 cold rolled mild steel. And it worked great. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Harbor Freight, you know. Well, and I've said it 1,000 times, but we're getting more and more people on this channel all the time. So having the top name brand tools is great. And on tools you use every day, it's completely fine to use those. I'm only going to need to use this when I'm doing something that has a metal finish. It's not getting painted like those signs. These are just being left like this. So I'm not going to use it every day, and I've never had to use one before. So here's my philosophy. Buy the cheap one first. If this thing breaks within 30 days, which I'm going to use it pretty hard, probably the next 30 days, I can return it and get a new one. All right? So that's one thing. The second thing is, if this thing lasts beyond that 30 days and a year from now you burn it up, that justifies spending the bigger bucks on a better name brand one. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're burning up the cheap one, that justifies you buying the better name brand one. A good example is my angle grinders. Didn't start out with DeWalt angle grinders. I started out with, I don't even remember, I think they were cheap ones from Harbor Freight. I started burning them up. Once I burned one up in a month, I said, okay, it's time to take a little money. I went and bought 4 good angle grinders, 4 DeWalt angle grinders. Funny enough, that was years ago. This is my last one that still works. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I've burned up them DeWalts. Business is more. Maybe I'll buy Metabo or something now. So that's probably where I'll go next. So anyways, just to reiterate, everybody's at their own stage of business. Don't be afraid to buy a cheaper tool. Some people might frown down upon it, but hey, you can pay for it and you're doing business. You're living your dream. Good for you. The other thing to take from this video is you're going to misquote stuff, especially when you're new. I just got the CNC table, right? I started running it in December. It's mid-January now. And when I met him at a craft fair where I was selling some metal artwork in my local town on the weekend. He was literally the booth next to me. I walked over there, asked what he was selling. We have little nieces and nephews, so I bought a collection of the books. And he said, I'd really like to give you a key, but I'm out of them. And I was like, the key in the book? And he said, yeah, I used to have them cut out by metal. And I was like, well, I'll cut them out for you. And that was it. That easy peasy. So we'll bring into that topic too, because I'm on a ton of CNC plasma cutting pages on Facebook. And there's always that guy in there that says, you can't make any money just doing metal artwork. It's a saturated market. There's hundreds and probably thousands, if not millions, of saturated markets where people still make money. That's how those businesses are in the game still. So can you make money on metal signs? Yes, you can. But it shouldn't be your only source of income with one of these tables. I'm doing a little bit of production runs and stuff like that. But metal signs have been Christmas time was a big time. Everyone around the holidays was a big time for metal signs. And even January, I'm getting people who are moving. They want address numbers, all this decorative stuff. And literally it's been an extra, if you count just metal sign, okay, let me put it this way. Metal signs in 6 weeks almost has that paid for. So yeah, you can still make money doing metal signs. Anyways, to wrap up this quick video, I know I'm a day late and $1 short because I misquoted. Anyways, there's a lot of new people on this channel. Welcome. For those of you who are new or have been around a little bit but don't know, my name's Austin. On this channel, I share just tips and tricks with you that I've learned to help start up and run your welding business or mobile business or really any contracting business that you wanted to start up. We really try to push, you don't need to be fancy when you start out. $90,000 trucks don't get you jobs, stuff like that. And yeah. We try to preach low overhead kind of stuff to just set you up for success. Because when you're starting a business, there's a lot to learn. And things can creep up on you. Again, if I had a ton of overhead, I mean, I know it's, there's 50 parts of dollars. It's $50, but this is just an example. If this was $500 and I had a lot of overhead and was barely being able to make ends meet, that would really suck. Might even put me out of business. Who knows? That might be the straw that broke the camel's back. I might have to go to the customer and say, I'm sorry, I need that extra $50. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Go follow me on Instagram if you want to see more day-to-day stuff. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.